Looks like the government is in quite a bind with fluoride. Yes, fluoride, that stuff. Fluoride's something that a lot of people have already woken up to, all of the neurotoxic aspects of fluoride, how it should not be in our drinking water supplies and our dental products. If you still have yet to wake up to fluoride, I would suggest you do so and just do a little bit of research. It ain't good for us. We don't need it for our teeth or our bones. In fact, it promotes molting of our teeth and bones and also harms your fluoride in your brain and your hormones and a bunch of other things. So anyway, diving into the content for today's video, I have a couple of news articles here talking about how the EPA is being sued over fluoride. Check this out. So our first one comes from the Epic Times. From a couple of weeks ago, it says, Fluoride Lawsuit against EPA prompts pending release of potentially damaging report. And this article details how a group called the Fluoride Action Network, the FAN. Speaking of which, if you need a lot of good scientific data to wake somebody up to fluoride or you're doing research yourself, I highly suggest going to the Fluoride Action Network's website. A lot of fantastic science, peer-reviewed articles, all kinds of good research showing all the issues with fluoride, especially the brain-damaging issues with fluoride. Anyway, the EPA has been sued by the Fluoride Action Network, and this lawsuit's actually been going on for 6 years. The Fluoride Action Network's been suing the EPA for 6 years to ban the use of fluoride in public water supplies. And interestingly enough, according to the Epic Times here, the EPA and the CDC, we're talking multiple government agencies, have basically been trying to stonewall this lawsuit. They keep filing motions for delays, delay after delay. And maybe the reason being is because this lawsuit, this petition the Fluoride Action Network is bringing against the EPA, references more than 2,500 pages of scientific documentation detailing the risks of water fluoridation to human health, including more than 180 published studies showing fluoride is linked to reduced IQ and neurotoxic harm. That's likely why the EPA is desperate to keep this lawsuit from going forward. So the EPA and the CDC have been trying to stonewall it, but good news is that it looks like the judge in this case is just getting sick of the delay and is finally denying the delays. So this lawsuit now will proceed, thanks to what looks to be an impatient and sick of the bureaucracy judge in that case. Now, we have another group that's suing the EPA and another article here to report on about another lawsuit. This one comes from the Children's Health Defense website. This is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s website, children'shealthdefense.org. And this detail is how there's another group called Food and Water Watch. Another group suing the EPA over fluoride. And it looks like a court order stemming from this lawsuit forced the release of a report by the National Toxicology Program, the NTP. And this report linked prenatal and childhood fluoride exposure to reduced IQ in children. So we have another scientific report detailing reduced IQ and neurotoxic harm of fluoride, especially this one says in children. So what was going on, and this is according to FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests found that the CDC and HHS, so we have a third three-letter government agency entering the mix now. So in this particular case, with Food and Water Watch, the CDC and the HHS were trying to block this NTP report from becoming public, this National Toxicology Program report. HHS and CDC initially blocked the National Toxicology Program from releasing the report, but a court order in this case forced that report to be made public. So basically we have two different court cases here, one with the Fluoride Action Network suing the EPA, one with Food and Water Watch suing the EPA, and we have how many government agencies trying to just block and stonewall all this fluoride science from being made public? EPA, HHS, CDC. Great. Thanks, government. Always looking out for our health. Okay? But I got one last thing, one last kicker here to really top it all off, show you the ridiculousness from the EPA, check out this news story that came out just a few days ago. Health experts call for a ban on toxic forever chemicals after EPA moves to cut them from tap water. So it looks like the EPA is doing something about chemicals in tap water, but these forever chemicals the EPA is doing something about, they're called PFAS. PFAS, that stands for polyfluoroalkyl substances, and apparently they're not good for us. They're not good for us at all. They're found in all kinds of daily use items, from dental floss to toilet paper to furniture, treatments, food packaging, etc., etc. Looks like they're also found in our tap water, and the EPA is trying to get these PFAS chemicals out of our tap water. That's great! But why isn't the EPA doing anything about fluoride? Why are they only selectively going after these PFAS chemicals and not doing jack shit about fluoride? And then actually, if you look at that compound name for these PFAS chemicals, what does that say there? Polyfluoroalkyl substances. That's what PFAS stands for. Is that a fluoro name in the middle of that? PFAS? Is there a fluoride ion bond in that molecule, in that chemical structure? Huh. So the EPA will do something about a fluoride ion in a PFAS molecule that harms people, but the EPA won't do jack shit about sodium fluoride or fluorosilicic acid or the other fluoride derivatives that are added to drinking water. And in fact, they want to prevent that information from coming public. Maybe the EPA just doesn't want to have to go back on their word, change their mind, admit they were wrong for all these years about putting fluoride in drinking water supplies. Not just that, but dental products too, right? And even baby's water that you can buy on store shelves with fluoride added to help their teeth and bones, or whatever the heck the health officials tell us fluoride is good for. So, pure hypocrisy from the EPA. And we'll see what these court cases do. I'll keep tracking them. I'll see if there's any updates in the coming weeks and months with these court cases, Fluoride Action Network and the Food and Water Watch. But interesting times we're in, and I guess it's good news because a lot of people are waking up to fluoride and trying to do something about it and get the government to admit they were wrong. Maybe that's wishful thinking, trying to get the government to admit they were wrong, but hey, moral of the story here is drink pure water. Don't brush your teeth with fluoridated toothpaste. Wake up, guys. Be smart. Be good to your body. Be good to your mind. Fluoride, no go.